Talk about women's sports more than First Take.
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Wow.
All right, we gotta go. You guys.
So did you say
you're my guy, but
who does more than
Stephen
us?
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Don't do that. I'm talking to you about the power that you have.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
All right, let's.
You're my guy, but I'm talking to you.
I got it.
Guys, I really appreciate
you my girl, but you've missed a lot of episodes.
For years, the rise of women's basketball has been one of the biggest stories in American sports. Then came Caitlin Clark. Suddenly, television ratings exploded, arena attendance surged, media coverage intensified, every network wanted a piece of the conversation. But the debate that erupted between Monica McNutt and Stephen A. Smith wasn't really about one game, one player, or even one season. It was about who helped build the spotlight before Caitlin Clark arrived. When Monica McNutt challenged Stephen A. Smith on national television, she wasn't questioning whether women's basketball deserved attention. Monica McNutt was questioning whether powerful voices had truly invested in the sport before the Caitlin Clark phenomenon transformed it into a mainstream attraction. Stephen A. Smith clearly viewed that criticism differently. To Stephen A. Smith, the comment wasn't simply a debate about timing. It was a direct challenge to years of work that he believed First Take had already invested into women's sports. That is why this exchange became so much bigger than a disagreement. Because once Monica McNutt raised the issue publicly, Stephen A. Smith felt compelled to respond publicly. And what followed became one of the most fascinating media disputes surrounding the WNBA conversation. Not because Monica McNutt and Stephen A. Smith dislike each other, but because both were arguing from completely different interpretations of the same history.
Here's the bigger issue. You know, there's something that's going on and a lot of people run from it. But I'm not, because I'm not scared of these subjects. Doesn't faze me at all. To address Monica McNutt's point, I found it very unfortunate that she would say that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the executive producer of First Take.
The moment Stephen A. Smith began his response, the tone changed immediately. Notice what stood out. Stephen A. Smith didn't attack Monica McNutt personally. Instead, Stephen A. Smith focused on the claim itself. According to Stephen A. Smith, the issue wasn't criticism. The issue was accuracy. Stephen A. Smith repeatedly emphasized that First Take had been discussing women's sports, highlighting female analysts, and creating opportunities long before Caitlin Clark became the biggest star in basketball. From Stephen A. Smith's perspective, Monica McNutt was overlooking years of effort. That matters because First Take has become one of the most influential sports platforms in television. When Stephen A. Smith hears criticism suggesting that attention only arrived because of Caitlin Clark, he hears something deeper. He hears an argument that minimizes the work he believes was already being done. Meanwhile, Monica McNutt's criticism appears rooted in a different reality. Monica McNutt's point centers on visibility, the reality that many observers would argue is undeniable. The amount of WNBA coverage in 2024 and beyond is dramatically larger than it was several years earlier. That creates an uncomfortable question. Can both Monica McNutt and Stephen A. Smith be partially correct? Could First Take have supported women's sports for years while still increasing coverage significantly after Caitlin Clark changed the economics of the sport? That possibility sits at the center of this debate. Because Monica McNutt and Stephen A. Smith aren't necessarily arguing about whether coverage existed. They are arguing about how much coverage existed and whether it matched the importance of the sport. And once that distinction enters the discussion, the disagreement becomes much more complicated.
Diversity and equity. You have any idea how offensive it was for me to sit there and hear Monica McNutt say that about me when I'm the one who handpicked our roster on First Take? Now, again, we're only talking about this incident. I love Monica McNutt. She's phenomenal. And she is a friend, and I'm a supporter, and I'm going to remain a supporter of hers.
One of the most revealing parts of Stephen A. Smith's response was not what he said about Monica McNutt. It was how often he emphasized respect for Monica McNutt. Again and again, Stephen A. Smith described Monica McNutt as talented, valuable, honorable, and important. That tells us something significant. This wasn't a personal feud. This was a professional disagreement involving two people who clearly know each other well. Yet that may have made the disagreement even more impactful. Because criticism from a stranger is easy to dismiss. Criticism from a colleague carries weight. Stephen A. Smith repeatedly pointed to the analysts who have appeared on First Take over the years. He highlighted women who gained visibility through the platform. He highlighted the role he believes he played in building those opportunities. From his perspective, Monica McNutt wasn't simply criticizing him. She was criticizing a larger effort that included producers, executives, hosts, and contributors. That explains why the reaction was so emotional. For Stephen A. Smith, this wasn't about one comment. It was about a professional legacy. For Monica McNutt, however, the broader conversation appears connected to the growth of women's basketball itself. The WNBA spent years fighting for attention. Then Caitlin Clark arrived and changed the scale of public interest. That reality has forced everyone in sports media to examine what coverage looked like before and after that moment. And that examination inevitably creates tension, because nobody wants their previous efforts dismissed. Yet nobody wants the sport's historical lack of exposure ignored either.
So for Monica McNutt to go on national television and say that is unfortunate. I love her. She's a good woman and a phenomenal analyst. And I'm not throwing any shade on her. I'm speaking out because she put out a falsehood about me live on national television on First Take, and I'm going to clear that record. That is not true.
The reason this debate matters extends far beyond Stephen A. Smith and Monica McNutt. This debate touches the future of sports media. Every network now understands that women's basketball is a major business. Every executive sees the ratings. Every advertiser sees the audience growth. Every platform sees the engagement. The question is no longer whether women's basketball deserves coverage. The question is how the industry got here. Stephen A. Smith argues that many people contributed to building the foundation. Monica McNutt argues that larger platforms could have accelerated that process earlier. Those positions are not mutually exclusive. But they lead to different conclusions about responsibility. And that is why the disagreement resonated so strongly. Because it forced a conversation about accountability. Who supported the sport before it became profitable? Who took risks before the ratings arrived? Who deserves credit for helping create today's momentum? Those questions will continue long after this specific exchange fades from the headlines. The financial stakes are enormous. The cultural stakes are enormous. And the growth of stars like Caitlin Clark ensures that these conversations will only become more intense. As the audience grows, scrutiny grows with it. Every media figure, every executive, every commentator, every network will face questions about their role in the evolution of women's basketball. And that is exactly why this exchange attracted so much attention. It wasn't merely an argument, it was a debate about history itself.